think it's gone back to 2 round ones. I'm not a fan of these triangles, I can't be honest. We'll do on here right now though, obviously. It's Wednesday. Wednesday. Yay. Whoa. And today, I've got an itchy eye, which is never good. Today I'm going to show you what books I received for Christmas. Now, I know Christmas was like 3 weeks ago. I know a lot of people do their like a Christmas haul, but I haven't received the majority of stuff I got was books because I enjoy books. I got some clothes, I got aftershaves, I got, deodorant sets, some bloody pyjamas, all that sort of usual waffle, some alcohol. But my main thing was the books I got, because as a man in his 30s who has a kid, I don't have the option to just go and spend 40-50 quid a month on books. It ain't an option. I've got a child, I've got responsibilities. So the books I want, I ask for Christmas. I mean, some of these books are like just short of 20 quid. So for me to have gone out and bought all these, like on any given month, you'd be looking at well over 100 quid, maybe more. And I ain't got that spare. So I'm going to show you what I got. A few of these I bought myself out of some money I had off family members for Christmas. The rest I bought for me by family members. Where's the first one? Okay, go straight to the top because we'll work our way down. Makes sense, don't it, really? Okay, the first one, I bought this one myself. This is the bottom corner. It's a football book. And the front it says Hope, Glory and Non-League Football by Nige Tassel. Tassel or Tassel? I go for Tassel. It says plucky underdogs or perennial underachievers. Your local non-league team offers hope, drama, or at least a Saturday afternoon ritual that's been going for decades. In these days of oligarch owners, superstar managers and players on sky-high wages, the tide is turning towards the lower reaches of the pyramid as fans search for football with a soul. Nige Tassel spends a season in the non-league world. He meets the raffle ticket seller who wants her ashes scattered in the centre circle, the envelope salesman who discovered a future England international, the ex-pros. Sorry. Oh, bloody hell. The ex-pros still playing with undiluted passion on Sunday mornings. He spends time at clubs looking for promotion to the Football League. Clubs just aiming to get 11 players on a pitch every week and everything in between. One thing unites them. They all inhabit the heartland of the beautiful game. So that is the bottom corner. I love books football books, where they go around different clubs, speak to different managers and whatnot. I've read a few, about 3 or 4, by this one bloke. He's a reporter, I believe, and he's done one called the Nowhere Boys, or the Nowhere Men. Films all about scouts, etc. He's done a few different ones. Did one with went around Millwall, and he's found what that man's called, with great books, gotta be honest. The second book, this was also what I got myself. This was like £4.50 off of Amazon. Is Stephen King's like a sale or something on Amazon just after Christmas. It's down in price quite a bit. I'll try to adjust this light a little bit. There we go. It sounds really good. I like a lot of Stephen King stuff. Not all, but a lot of it. It's a horrifying crime. Watertight evidence points to a single suspect, except he was 70 miles away with an ironclad alibi. Detective Anderson sets out to investigate the impossible. How can the suspect have been at both? Could it have been at both? Sorry, let's get this right. How can the suspect have been both at the scene of the crime and in another town? It sounds really good. I'm not a massive fan of Stephen King in the respect that he doesn't really do chapters, does he, in some of his books? Or in this one he has. But I've read one or two in the past where there's no chapters, it's just one book, which could be a bit annoying, but no, he's done them in this one. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading this. And this is actually a HBO series now. Ooh, I like the sound of that. But I can't watch the series until I've read the book, obviously. We should check if we can actually get that on Sky Atlantic. I doubt we can, not being HBO. Make it logic, wouldn't it? You don't want to get something that's on HBO. Oh no, Sky Atlantic. Let's have a look at that. Then you can get Sopranos and stuff, don't you? Let's have a look. The Outsider drama series. I've seen this on the TV. I did not know it was. It was on Amazon Prime. I've got Prime, but it says you've got to bloody pay for these episodes. It's a pain in the flipping arse. Who's in it? Jason Bateman. And Ben Mendelsohn. He's great, Ben Mendelsohn. Paddy Considine. Well, they've got a great little cast here. Christ. And I've never watched it. How stupid of me. My bad. I might have to correct that, but I refuse to pay for an episode. Not when I only pay for Prime and everything else. I'll have to check in a bit anyways. Next book. This is the last one, or one of the last ones I bought myself, before we get into the ones that were bought for me. This is Ticket to Ride. I found this on Amazon, and just the idea, I love travel books. I don't read enough of them, but this sounds really good. It says experience the world by train. Why do people love trains so much? Tom Cheshire, is on a mission to find the answer by experiencing the world through train travel on both epic and everyday rail routes. Aboard every type of ride, from steam locomotives to bullet trains, meeting a cast of memorable characters who share a passion for train travel. Now, I'm not a train spotter by any means, but I do like the idea of travelling around the world on a train. I think that's dead cool. Join him on socials, looks on the telly. Join him on the rails and off the beaten track as he embarks on an exhilarating whistle-stop tour around the globe, from Sri Lanka to Iran via Crewe, Inverness, the Australian outback and beyond. Now, out of all them places mentioned on there, I've definitely been to Crewe and Crewe train station a few times. Every time I go home from where I live now, I'll go through Crewe. I think I've possibly been to Inverness as well at some point in the past. But I've never been to Sri Lanka, Iran, or the Australian outback. Anyways, next book. This one I asked my mum for. This is Jamie Carragher. dad's house, and in the bedroom we had no aerial for the TV, so we had to watch DVDs, play on the PlayStation, whatever. And we lived in the bedroom, like, because that was our room, that was our space, if you know what I mean. So I was in there quite a bit. And one day I went to a charity shop, I believe, and I bought, I think it was Tony Adams' autobiography. I'd never really read many football books at that point, not a lot anyway. And after that, I just flew through. I read Patrick Vieira's book, I read Paolo Di Canio's book, I read Roy Keane's book, I read so many autobiographies, Alex Ferguson's, a lot. I've read so many Maradona's, Pele's. I've got box after box out there, football autobiographies, and I've just never looked back. And Jerry Carragher is one of the books I read early on, and this is his new book, and this is where he goes and talks to so many famous footballers about Jerry Carragher's favourite games of all time. So he has contributions from Jurgen Klopp, David Beckham, Xavi, Rafael Benitez, Company, Gerrard, Gary Neville, Wayne Rooney, Jordan Henderson, Michael Owen, Teddy Sheringham, John Barnes, Robbie Fowler, Peter Reid, Ian Rush, Stan Collymore, Alan Smith, Didi Hamann, Graham Hunter, Brian Marwood, Javier Mascherano, Andy Gray, Martin Tyler, Clive Tilsley, and all these people give their contributions on matches that Jerry Carragher talks about in here. I heard him talking about this book on TalkSport, I believe it was, and I didn't know it was out, but that it was coming out, and then I heard him talking about it. I was like, I've got to get that book, so I can't wait to start reading that. Next, my father-in-law bought me this book. This is Arsene Wenger's new autobiography, My Life in Red and White. Whoops. Now, there was another Arsene Wenger book that came out about 2 or 3 years ago, which I read. I've got it out there somewhere. But it wasn't an autobiography, it's just about Arsene Wenger. Sorry, I was trying to not burp then. This is specifically written by Arsene Wenger, with a ghostwriter, obviously. I can't wait to read that, because, okay, we all used to take the mick out of him, didn't we? You know, oh, I didn't see that, sorry, all that stuff. I used to take the mick out of him all the time, and to be fair, some of my early football videos were me basically having a dig at Arsene Wenger and Arsenal, and they were quite popular, believe it or not. But you got to respect what he did, for getting like the league titles and the trophies. He literally changed the way football in this country was thought of, you know, from the dietary habits to preparation for games. If Pepe Le Pew, who's on the telly right now, Pep Guardiola, changed the way football is played in this country, which he has done a little bit in the last few years, then Wenger changed the way footballers lived way back before anybody else was doing it. Next, we have a DVD here. I bought myself this over Christmas. I'm yet to watch it. It's just because I'm lazy. That is Tenet. I need to sit down and watch this DVD. I got it on Blu-ray. I could have got it on like normal disc DVD. I thought, no, I like it on Blu-ray. I like the look of it. It's not even been opened yet. I need to sit down and watch this. I love this actor. Man, it's right there at the front table too. Yeah, I love him as an actor. He is in Ballers with The Rock, and that is John David Washington. Yeah, Denzel Washington's son. A very strong look of him as well, of Denzel, and he's starting to make it big in films, and So I'm going to sit down and watch that at some point in the next week. What's it saying? Let's have a look. Armed with only one word, Tenet, and fighting for the survival of the entire world, the protagonist journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a mission that will unfold in something beyond real time. If you've seen any Christopher Nolan film, from bloody Interstellar to The Dark Knights and Memento, what's the other one? What's the one with DiCaprio? Oh bloody, you know the one I'm on about. It was like fantastic. Inception. Yeah, Inception. You'll know that having just one word to say is all you need in a film if Christopher Nolan's writing it. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, I had this book off of my mother. Yeah, I asked my mum for this book. It's Andrew Cole, Fast Forward. Andy Cole, I can't be doing calling him Andrew Cole. It's Andy Cole. Getting there, scoring a goal for Man United. So I remember he's had 2 books out. I've got his, I think so. Anyways, I think I've got his first one, but I've never read it. And now he's got this one out. I remember when Andy Cole came to Man United, we let Keith Gillespie go the other way, plus 7 million quid. I mean, looking back, that's a pretty good deal. And then like the following season, or within 2 seasons, we signed Dwight York. Now the problem there was that Andy Cole and Dwight York eventually struck up a great partnership, but they didn't gel too well at first. It took them a long time to start playing well together. And Andy Cole also played in the same team as Teddy Sheringham at Man United. But believe it or not, Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham couldn't stand each other. They wouldn't talk at all off the pitch. I don't know why that is. I'm hoping to find out in this book. But they just didn't have anything to do with each other at all. And yet they was in the same team that won the Champions League, the League and the FA Cup when they won that historic treble in 98, 99. So I'll look forward to reading that. Next we have, I bought this one myself. Yeah, I bought this one for myself. This is Ozzy Osbourne's book, I Am Ozzy. So I'm not sure if this is a re-release of his original autobiography, but I have his original one in hardback. I'd never read it, and it's in my shed somewhere because I've got boxes upon boxes of books in my shed. I was like, I can't be asked to go and search for it. I'll just buy it again. Which is what I did. I bought the book again because I'm a bit of an idiot like that. And Ozzy Osbourne comes from Birmingham, just down the road from where I am. You all know who Ozzy Osbourne is. I don't even need to read the back of this book to you. But my wife has recently been watching a show with Jack Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne, where Jack will show them like clips off YouTube or whatever of supernatural stuff and scary stuff, and they say whether or not they believe it, that's real or not. And I just remembered that's what I was like, Ozzy Osbourne is a funny man. I want to read his book, so I got his book. This book I finished just yesterday, this one here. My mother-in-law and father-in-law bought me this book. I asked for it. I read about it online on Amazon, so I want to read that book. This is the greatest gambling story ever told. It's only a small book, about 150 pages. I read this over a few days. This was fantastic. I'm not going to read it for anyone, but basically there was a horse back in the day in the 80s, in 88, in America, personality, I'm not a massive fan of horses. I've never been on one. But after reading this, I was like, I want a horse. I'm not going to get one, obviously. YouTube doesn't pay that well. But I wouldn't mind getting one. Because this horse is a beautiful thing. A beautiful animal. But yeah, I actually watched the race yesterday on YouTube. They got the whole race on there. The 1988 Kentucky Derby. So I was checking out yesterday. I was like, wow, what a beautiful horse she was. So I finished reading that. I've now started to read this book I'm about to show you. I started last night. I'm about 15 to 20 pages into the book. Now, I would not normally pick up a book about somebody who's still playing football, let alone somebody who did so little in football. But I had to get this. This is Nicholas Bendtner's Both Sides autobiography. And it is shockingly entertaining. You all remember Nicholas Bendtner, surely, and if you're a young football fan, you should remember him. This is the lad who, at one point, bear in mind, he played during the generation of Messi, Ronaldo. He came out with the phrase, or the sentence that he was the greatest player in the world. I'm pretty sure that's what he came out and said, or one of the best players in the world, one of the other. This is Nicholas Bendtner, by the way, guys. But somehow he ended up at Juventus at one point in his career. He was at Arsenal for a long time, Juventus, I can't remember where else he's been. In the book it starts off where he's at Rosenborg, and he's gone there in Norway to try and get into the Norwegian team for the 2018 World Cup, weren't it? World Cup in 2018. And he starts off, he's been dropped basically from the Norway team, and he can't believe it. He's like, I've done everything they've asked me to do, and you're dropping me, what the hell? And he's very good. He goes back to his apartment early on after being dropped, and he's just getting pissed. And he's like, I don't even know, I don't even care anymore, I'm just getting absolutely off my face. He's talking about this woman who's like saying to him, oh, come round tonight, I've got loads of fun things planned for you. He's quite honest, which I really like. It says here, the brutally honest memoir of a gifted player with a complex personality. Both Sides sees a troubled, overconfident teen with millions to spend, playing for super clubs like Arsenal and fighting to reach the top. With disarming honesty, Bendtner talks about the darker sides of football and his own difficult fall from grace, about what it's like to have so much promise that you lose touch with reality altogether. A story of great football, rivalry, and the tragedy of an unfulfilled potential. Both Sides is a fable of the modern game. It's really, really good. I am joking. I wouldn't recommend books to people because books ain't cheap, are they? Let's be honest about it. Wow, Gary Pallister is looking old. He's on the TV now. Former United legend at the centre back. He's looking old, man. Christ. Anyway, I wouldn't recommend books where you have to kind of then fork out money for. But for the first 2 chapters or whatever, 15 pages, I'd definitely say go out and buy this book. Are these other books? I've only read the gambling one. Depending on how much that is, I wouldn't say pay more than 10 quid for that. I don't know what my mother-in-law paid for it. I enjoyed it because it's only a small book. I wouldn't say more than 10. I think it's cost me like £13-14, and I'd say early on it's definitely worth the money. Next, we have one that I got for about 7 quid from the works about 5 days before Christmas. I read this one. I read this book over Christmas, and then I moved on to the this is Michael Owen's reboot autobiography. My life, my time, it says at the bottom. Now, Michael Owen obviously started for Liverpool, ended up at Real, Newcastle, Man United, Stoke. When he came into United, I was quite chuffed, and he got a couple of goals against Man City. I was like, whoa, yes, happy days. Early on in this book, he really, really irritated me like a big time, because he's just having pot shot after pot shot at David Beckham for Beckham being sent off against Argentina in the World Cup '98. And it's quite clear, he even says himself, Owen, he says, I'll never forgive him for that. He cost us the World Cup. Like, mate, I think he's had enough people telling that over the years. You need to keep telling him. But he does not miss a chance to have a go at David Beckham, which is quite surprising. I didn't expect that from Michael, which I admire for his honesty. He's saying, look, you know, I don't blame Beckham. He's saying, I really do blame him. I was just a bit shocked. But I'd say it's definitely worth £7. I've seen it on Amazon, I think it's like 15. It's not worth 15 quid, in my opinion anyways. But £7, yay. I mean, what is £7 these days? A pack of beer and a couple of packs of crisps, ain't it? So I'd say that's definitely worth a read. Sorry guys, I'm just checking. Sorry guys, I just had to check if I had any WhatsApps on my phone. Now, this last, well not, I've got 2 books left, but this one next, I pre-ordered, which I never do. I resent spending money if I've then got to wait ages to get something for it. But I really wanted this book, and I wanted it as soon as it came out, so I pre-ordered it about 3 weeks before it came out. And I'm really glad that I did. I've not read it yet. This is Young Bucks. Matt and Nick Jackson, Young Bucks, killing the business. From backyards to the big leagues. If you know your wrestling, you'll know who the Young Bucks are. They are in AEW. They're one of the main reasons AEW was set up. And I can't wait to start reading this book. I'm not going to read all the backs, there's a lot of writing on the back of there. But it's all about how they started out in wrestling. All the way through like New Japan, etc., to Ring of Honor. I think there's in Ring of Honor, weren't they? All the way to AEW and getting that set up. I think the book ends where they're about to like set up AEW or about to like have their first show, and then the second book I've heard them say will continue like through their first year or 2 of AEW, which they probably won't release for another year or 2 anyways. But I really look forward to reading that. As much as I enjoy football books, I really enjoy wrestling books, and I've read a lot of wrestling books, so I'm looking forward to that being my next wrestling autobiography. And then the last book I've bought, I was a bit like, should I, shouldn't I? He never did it really for me as a footballer. During his times of football, I wasn't really over like interested in watching him play. But he's an interesting character off the field and whatnot. So before I show you who it is, I'm going to tell you a little story I heard. So I read Michael Owen's book, which is right here. And in the book, he tells a story of a player he played with at Newcastle United. And at the time, this player was getting a lot of stick off the press and off the fans for taking a lot of money, being injured a lot, being a bit of a ladies' man. Like, he'd always be out in the town, getting on with new women and whatnot, apparently. And some fans like weren't too happy with him for that, I guess, flashing his money and stuff like that. Michael Owen tells a story of he went to a gym one day he sees a man with his boy, and his boy, I think it was using like a hydro pool, because his boy wasn't too well. The pool was to help the boy, like relieve pain or something like that. And then this footballer, whose book is over here, goes over and starts talking to the dad, and introduces himself to the young boy and stuff like that. And the dad says, like, he's not very well, and I don't think he had long to live. I think that's right. I think the boy was gonna die at some point. So this footballer over here says, okay, but I'm sorry to hear that, and then writes out a cheque for the dad to take his boy to Disneyland. He says, look, here you go. There's the money. Take your boy, your family, like Mrs. and any other kids to Disneyland. All expenses paid. Spending money the lot. And nobody ever knew that story. That never got out in the press. This football never went and told everyone about it. He didn't want people to know about it. The only way Michael Owen found out is because somebody at the gym told him. But this had been happening like a year earlier. I was like, wow, that is a really nice gesture, and something that I didn't think this person would have done. And that person is Kieran Dyer, who had a lot of potential at one point when he was at Newcastle, signed from Ipswich, and just never realised his potential. Injury problems, that is so injury prone. But yeah, I thought, give this a go. So yeah, in the football mind, Kieran Dyer came to symbolise so much of what was self-destructive about a group of football players known collectively as the Baby Bentley generation. Nicknamed the King of Bling by the tabloid press, Dyer was caught up in many of the scandals that characterised the history of a talented group of players who promised so much and delivered so little. A generation whose wages and lavish lifestyles began to alienate them from the fans. But Dyer's story is far more than a one-dimensional tale of excess. It is a portrait of the changing face of the game, where old school traditions and the rule of patriarchal managers collided with the power of the brash new breed of players, emboldened by their spiralling salaries. Old too soon, smart too late is about a moment in time, a social and historical record of English football at the start of its gold rush. For Dyer, there is a measure of personal redemption, but for the English game, there is only a lingering sense of waste and regret for an opportunity lost. He did have a lot of potential, and rightly so. It is a shame he never reached it. It's a real shame when any player has injuries throughout their careers. Think Darren Anderson, he was called sick now for that reason. Think Jack Wilshere now. I mean, he's without a club for Christ's sake, because he's always injured, and that is a shame. It honestly is a real shame. It was the same for Kieran Dyer. A lot of injury problems. Guys, if you want to know about any of these books, when I've read them, my thoughts on them, whatever. If you want me to review any of them after I've read them, let me know. Let me know if you've read any good books lately. Do you recommend any football books or any other book that you might have read recently? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe.